it's Marion Chapman again. This time we're doing collage on a watercolour background. I've already torn out all the bits and pieces. I've got other videos where I go through the process of tearing out all the pieces, but the basic things to keep in mind are the orientation. So if you've got a background prepared, that's perfect. And then colours. Very, very important in this background. There's lots of purples and there's green. So the foreground has lots of purples and green. So it's the same colour palette, it's just reversed. Oh, there's also some beautiful magenta mixed in there as well. And then I've replicated that in the foreground. The other thing to keep in mind is how incredibly different in tone I've made them. So hopefully these flowers, when I stick them down, and I'm going to show you that process in a second, but hopefully when the flowers are all stuck down, these flowers in a vase are going to look like they're in front of the window. And I'm hoping that all my sharp edges is going to do that. So when you paint the background, you want it loose and soft. Cut out, I've torn up, everything is hand torn. I love that look. I love that it provides this white edge, but mostly I love that soft edge. I don't enjoy scissor work, but the tearing of paper for me is just so cathartic. I love it. I've spent a while placing the vase in the middle, on this side, on that side. It did have quite an extra bit on there, and that went there, and I thought, oh, I might create an abstract back to the vase, and that made the whole vase much shorter, and I had another spare piece from all the tearing I've done. It also helped make sense of the piece of pattern that's on this watercolour painting that I chopped up. The other bits of paper are, this is printer paper, and I've there's text on it from these letters printed over with a jelly print. That's how you get all those beautiful textures. That's about it for all the bits. Oh, there's also some rice paper there. So I jelly print rice paper when I'm jelly printing. So it's just white on the back and it's just got this hint of colour. But when you glue it down, it goes quite transparent. And you'll see that on these little bits here and here as I begin gluing. Okay. So in the last collage video, you would have seen that I was using Liquitex matte gel, but there's a heavy amount of watercolour in the background, and I know that this Liquitex matte gel will shift my colour, so I thought on this one I might experiment with, damn it, I'm going to use this nice watercolour brush and see where the Mod Podge moves it around more or less. I'm going to start down here, see what happens. I was hoping these would look a little bit like fallen petals. This is that piece of rice paper. This way. Okay, a bit of Mod Podge on top. Really settles it in. Any colour? Ooh, very little movement of the watercolour. That's cool. I'm going to decant some of that. That is really smelly. That's the Mod Podge. I feel like it's getting up my nose. I also don't have the window open, so I think I should open a window. All right, when I put it back on, it's going to be just above there, there, and over to there. Right, let's lather this up. Much easier to ensure a bond if I can get the back of this completely lathered in glue. It's a thick piece of watercolour paper, so it really needs to be bonded well. Okay, and it goes kind of there. Trying to move the watercolour as little as possible. Just up to about there, I think. Let's see how we go. Up to there and over to there. Very good. All right, I'm going to put in extra glue here. extra glue over here. There. It's wiggling all over the place. That way. There. All right. See if I can get it to settle. Because if you can get the glue to grip it really well, you don't have to worry after that. It just kind of grabs. The weird thing is that it's barely picking up any watercolour paint, and yet it feels runnier than the Liquitex. Oh, hopefully, oh, that's moving instead. Damn. I'm pushing that up so that my goal is that your eye will come in like this and then go up there. So I need that to go up, up. And then it's going to go there, there. There. So I've placed this pointing this way because of the composition. And the reason I mention this is sometimes you're wondering which direction to place it, and you might work out the direction to glue something down, and because it works. And sometimes if you can't work it out, you can think about your composition. So my composition is hopefully going to come in up here and go up there. And I thought if this is pointing this way, perhaps it will help the viewer's eye travel in and go to the next flower, which is going to be lower than this flower. So I'm placing things all the time in a way that I hope will look interesting. I don't know if it will, if it won't. So let's start by gluing this. Again, I'm trying very hard to disturb the background as much as possible. There. And then I thought that might look like a little leaf coming off it. There. I think the reason why these dots moved is because that was one of those watercolour sticks, so it was pure pigment. But I really enjoyed moving it around as well. I think it's done. Oops, I just splashed water on it. I don't think that is a good idea. Does not need to be any wetter. So I'm going to put it on my drying rack and hope that it dries and looks great. Thank you for joining me again. See you next time.